Yes, you absolutely can lose weight without exercising because weight loss does not necessarily rely on burning more calories or eating less food. What it relies on is creating a calorie deficit. So as long as you are overall creating a calorie deficit, or in other words, eating less calories than you are burning, you are going to drop some weight. Now, you can create this calorie deficit with either eating less food or moving more. Ideally, we like to see a combination of eating less food and exercising, because if you only exercise, that can put a little bit too much inflammation and a little bit too much stress in your body. And that raises cortisol levels. Cortisol is your main stress hormone. And if you raise cortisol levels, then in the long term, cortisol is actually going to make it very difficult for you to drop body fat. So while exercise should be usually implemented in a weight loss program, it should never be the only intervention for weight loss. On the other hand, if you create a calorie deficit by eating less food, that could also increase hunger levels, cravings for addictive foods, and most importantly, if you're only eating less food to lose weight, that is going to also lead to some muscle loss, and so you're going to end up with a less than optimal body composition. So before I explain how to lose weight without exercising, I just want to stress again that if you can exercise, it's really important that you do. Exercising along with a specific meal plan is really the best way to drop body fat and not muscle. So not only will you have a more favorable body composition at the end, you will also have an easier time sticking to your diet because exercise actually stimulates the release of dopamine and serotonin, all of those feel-good chemicals that can help keep cravings at bay and can help you choose healthier options more effortlessly. Having said that, if you are in a position where you can't really exercise, whether there's an injury or you're traveling or whatever the case may be, and you still want to create a calorie deficit or you still want to lose weight, then yes, you absolutely can do that. And there are a few tips that I'm going to give you that will facilitate that process. Tip number 1, intermittent fasting. Intermittent fasting, I've done multiple videos on that and I will link them up here and in the description box below. But intermittent fasting is one of the best hacks, if there is such a thing, that is going to make it a lot easier for you to eat healthier foods and create that calorie deficit. Tip number 2 would be eat a high protein diet. Ideally, you want to eat what human beings have eaten for 99.99% of our existence here on Earth, which is basically a carnivore diet. And I've also done more videos on that, so I will link them up here and I'll also link them in the description box below so you can watch the carnivore diet meal plan video if you like, and it tells you exactly what foods are the best to include. Why a carnivore diet or why a high protein diet? Because protein suppresses the appetite. Protein increases satiety or suppresses the appetite the fastest and to the highest degree compared to all the other nutrients such as carbs or fat. Not only that, but eating more protein also is going to provide all of those amino acids that are precursors to dopamine and serotonin and endorphins in your brain. In other words, the more protein in your diet, the more likely you are to create more dopamine, more serotonin, more endorphins, and those are things that you're not really making enough of, especially when you're not exercising. So mental health is very intimately linked to a high protein diet. Also, a high protein diet, specifically a carnivore diet, so eating more protein from animal-based sources, is going to minimize your exposure to food sensitivities and it's going to minimize your exposure to plant self-defense mechanisms. What that means, you're going to decrease inflammation in your body. When you lower inflammation in the body, the brain works better, you create more happy hormones, and so it's easier to choose healthier options and not be tempted to feel happy by exogenous sources or outside sources such as a cheesecake. So the healthier your brain, the less likely you are to reach out for fake happiness in the form of addictive foods. As if I haven't listed enough benefits of a high protein carnivorous diet, another benefit would be minimizing the loss of muscle. See, every time you create a calorie deficit and every time you're on a weight loss diet, you will always lose some muscle. And this is especially important when you can't train and when you can't work out. So if you're not lifting weights to maintain that muscle and to even put on more muscle on your frame, then this loss of body muscle mass is going to be magnified when you are doing a weight loss diet in the absence of an exercise program. So here again, it's really important that you eat more protein, especially more high quality forms of protein, such as a carnivorous high protein diet. And it's really important that it comes from animal-based sources, because if you're consuming protein from plant-based sources, you're also usually getting a high amount of carbohydrates. We do not want to increase our carbohydrate intake when we're trying to lose weight in the absence of exercise. This brings me to another tip, which is keep your carb intake low. Why? Because when you eat a high carb diet or even a moderate carbohydrate diet, your blood sugar levels go up and down every 2 to 3 hours, because every time you eat a carbohydrate containing meal, your body releases insulin, which is known as the fat storage hormone, in order to drop your blood sugar levels back to normal. And this drop in your blood sugar levels is never 100% perfect. So what usually ends up happening, your blood sugar levels drop a little bit below baseline. And this slight drop in your blood sugar levels below baseline is a very strong stimulus for hunger and for cravings. And so another easy way to minimize hunger and cravings on a weight loss diet that doesn't contain exercise would be to eliminate as much as possible the amount of carbohydrates in your diet. That's going to actually make adherence and compliance to your diet a lot easier. And my final tip for you today is to focus on eating whole, unprocessed, single ingredient foods. And so no protein bars, nothing that comes out of a package, nothing that has been processed and refined to the point where the volume that it takes up for the amount of calories it gives you is too high. When we are trying to lose weight in the absence of exercise, we want to use all the tools available to us to make compliance to the diet as easy as possible. And nothing adds up calories as fast as possible as consuming processed refined foods, even health foods, even things like protein bars. They are designed to taste good. They have sweetness in them, and they have way too many calories for the small amount of volume that they provide. So for that reason, if you must go on a weight loss diet without exercising, then at the very least cut out anything that comes out of a package and just focus on single ingredient foods that do not have to come from a package, that don't have an ingredient list, and that don't have a nutrition facts label. So when you're shopping, shop in the outer perimeter of your grocery stores where all the fresh, unprocessed foods are, and skip all of the aisles in the middle where all of the junk food and the health foods that are processed are usually found. Now, if you need more help figuring out exactly how many calories you need to consume in order to drop weight, then make sure you check out this video up here. I will link it in the description box below. Also, feel free to check out my channel, all the other videos that I have that also help you achieve your ideal body weight as easily and healthily as possible. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Dr. Zaldivar. I hope you liked this video. If you did, make sure you give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and make sure you hit that notification bell icon so that YouTube alerts you the very next time I post a new video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.